We begin with an injured old guy called John, who awakens in the hospital after a tragic accident. Sometime later, when he has fully recovered, he travels to a small isolated seaside community in quest of solace. He puts the luggage inside the house and promptly goes swimming. After that, as he is making his way home, John's eyes catch on a beautiful girl having a bath in the lake. She turns to gaze at him with bizarre eyes, and then submerges herself because she feels offended by the way John is staring at her. After arriving home, John drinks to dull his agony before going to sleep. On his way back from his daily stroll the following day, John overhears someone wailing. He follows the crying noise and discovers a girl called Jackie crying inside the boat. John inquires what occurred, to which she answers leave her alone. Because he wanted to assist her, John inquired again who had struck her in the eye. Jackie becomes enraged and says it may be you because you intended to take advantage of her. John became terrified and stated that he wanted to help her by placing ice on her eye, nothing else. Jackie continues to blackmail him, threatening to scream if he does not give her $500.
Otherwise I'll get impatient and tell.
John has no option but to comply, so he rushes to the grocery store to get ice for Jackie. Unfortunately, by the time he arrives home, Jackie has already left. He then discovers her hat dangling from the home doorknob. While having dinner, in the evening, he hears a disturbance and goes seeking it, but there is nothing. However, this causes him to remember pleasant memories of his wife and daughter. The next day, while resting on the beach, John notices Jackie walking by with her father and brother. John inquired about her eye and told her she might pick up her baseball cap from him at any moment. Therefore, Jackie's father becomes belligerent and asks how she knows him. Jackie, though, declines to respond and departs. Following that, Jackie's father Ralph paid a visit to John's house in the evening to apologize for Jackie's actions the day before and refund the money. Ralph said Jackie allegedly informed him what had occurred and claimed Jackie wasn't that sort of person earlier. She's going through rough patches after her mother died in the robbery incident at home. John also speaks about his loss before Ralph departs. The following day John goes to purchase groceries. While returning home, he encounters a woman outside his home looking for work. John welcomes her in to offer her some water and groceries. She began dishes in order to repay John's kindness. Unfortunately, an accident occurred while cleaning that sliced her hand. Because John lacks a first aid kit, he transports her to Ralph's house for assistance. After applying the bandage on the maid, Ralph invites John for lunch, and he accepts the invitation.
What? Did you want me to put something else on?
They prayed and started having lunch. Ralph's son starts listening to music while eating lunch. When Ralph finds out, he begins to rage at him. Jackie steps in to stop Ralph from yelling at her brother and inquires about what is wrong with him. She then asks John to accompany her to his house so she may pick up the baseball cap, and John obliges. While heading home through the jungle, John smokes a cigarette, and Jackie also requests one. John inquires Jackie whether her father is aware of her smoking habit. Just forget about him, Jackie says, and light one for her. John suggests you need to help Ralph since he is going through a difficult period. Jackie becomes irritated and claims he has no knowledge of her family's current situation or the catastrophe they are going through. If she felt comfortable, John suggested she may share with him. Jackie then narrates the burglary incident occur a few days earlier in which a thief tried to become physical with her, and her mother tried to stop him. However, the thief shot her mother, and she died as a result. John expresses sympathy for her loss. Jackie then questions John about what happened and why he has a noticeable mark on his head. John claims that his wife and daughter perished in a tragic accident that he experienced.
I think I fell asleep at the wheel.
John recalls feeling sleepy while driving and believes this collision was his fault. They then proceed to John's residence so he may give her baseball cap back. John becomes preoccupied with finding the cap. Meanwhile, Jackie went straight to his bedroom to rest on the bed. As John approaches the bedroom to give the hat back, Jackie asks whether he is dating anybody. John replies no one. Jackie then responds that meant she could stay here. John says categorically not, and your family needs you in such difficult times. As soon as John realizes how this will end, he immediately exits the room. Jackie claims that her father hit her in the eye a few days earlier as she was weeping on the boat. Jackie burst into tears and said Ralph had held her accountable for her mother's passing. John holds and soothes her since she is weeping, but Jackie does the opposite and begins kissing him. This doesn't feel right, so John pushes her away and urges her to go. However, Jackie doesn't want to go, but John persuades her to leave his residence despite her resistance. Jackie has left now, but this is the start of a brand new story. Jackie loves to surprise people. She already knows that he will not allow her in, so she arrives at John's house with her maid. John is disappointed to see Jackie. However, John extends an invitation for a cup of tea. She apologizes to him for her actions the previous day in order to start fresh. She then invites him to go trekking with her.
Jackie, I really don't need this now, okay?
So what do you need?
However, John accepts, and the two of them go trekking. They come across a police officer while strolling, and Jackie tells him that John is her father's buddy. So there is no reason to be concerned, and the officer departs. They eventually reach the peak of the mountain after a long hike. John sits next to her, admiring the beauty of the scenery. He slices the orange, gives Jackie half of it, and inquires about Jackie's relationship with her father. Jackie blamed herself. It wouldn't have happened if she hadn't worn the skirt that day. Her mother may still be living today. John cuddles her and reminds her that she is not to blame. John advises Jackie that it's best that we get back home before it becomes dark so that nothing bad happens. They take a little break on their way home to rest. They both sit down and glance at one another. Since John has been living alone for a while, Jackie has captured his heart. They come close and ends up sleeping together. While having fun, they hear a disturbance, and it turns out Ralph and his son arrive in a fishing boat at that spot. They promptly fled the scene. John becomes alarmed that Ralph may have seen him with her. As a result, he rushes home and packs his belongings in order to escape this situation. When he is about to leave the house, out of a sudden, Ralph appears, and John gets enormously terrified. It turns out Ralph is here to invite him for dinner and says he will drop John at the airport tomorrow morning. John is relieved to learn this and accepts his invitation to supper. Ralph further says Jackie informed him about their hiking adventure. He is astonished by John's stamina at his age. That night, during dinner, Ralph questions John about his type of employment. John responds, "I'm a writer and will leave for Durban tomorrow." Being in love with him, Jackie is shocked to hear it. Jackie starts playing footsies to entice him, since she is anxious to stop him by all means. However, John says he'll go back and start anew.
I'm gonna look for a pretty new wife.
Jackie further says, "Will you disclose your true face to your new bride or hide it with a hat or anything? Despite the fact that some girls find scars attractive, your scar is too awful." Ralph expresses regret for Jackie's misbehavior. John says it's all right. After dinner, John bids Jackie bye and departs. Jackie goes to John's place the next day because she can't resist John's magnetism. As a result, they end up burning calories together. Jackie's maid observes them from outside and sneaks inside the house while they are having fun. Jackie notices the maid on the sofa as she descends to put on the clothing. At the same time, John observes her from above. They are both afraid that the maid will undoubtedly alert Ralph. Jackie promptly leaves for home while John begins collecting his things to leave the town as quickly as possible. Ralph suddenly emerges as John is preparing to leave home. At first, John gets frightened, but when Ralph says his kid has been missing since the morning, John takes a deep breath and relaxes, knowing his secret is protected. Ralph gratefully accepts John's offer to assist him in locating his son. The entire day is spent looking for Simon, but they are unsuccessful. Jackie even posted flyers around the village about Simon, who has been missing. The following morning when John was returning from the market, policemen stopped the automobile and offered to drive him home. He then seeks John's assistance in persuading Jackie to marry him because John is a close friend of Jackie. Oh my goodness, the cop is quite foolish, in my opinion. They are more than just pals. John replies this isn't an appropriate time to ask her to marry her because her brother is missing, and she is disturbed. The hunt for Simon continues. Divers have even looked in the lake, but have not found him. Jackie is outraged and believes Ralph's harshness caused him to flee. After that, John pays a visit to Ralph's home to notify him that he will be departing the day after tomorrow. Ralph replies that John must return to his regular life. The officer aggressively stares at John because he refuses to talk to Jackie. John then goes swimming in the lake. Jackie appears out of nowhere as if she's been expecting him. They then emerge from the water and perch on the rock. John inquires as to what she is doing here. Jackie replies that she doesn't want to live with her father since she is in love with him. Jackie further asks John to accompany her along. John doesn't know how to answer that question, so he remains silent. Meanwhile, the officer and Ralph arrive and discover them alone on the cliff. John and Jackie are so terrified that they immediately jump into the water. Ralph loudly yells at her. In contrast, John is in complete panic and unsure of what will happen to him. Ralph asks a question as John emerges from the water.
What have you been doing to my child?
According to John, we are doing nothing but swimming. Ralph, on the other hand, is skeptical. The officer already has a vendetta against John, so he aims the gun at him. However, Ralph requests the police officer to depart before attacking John with a wood plank on the head. John pushes him to flee the area. He attempts to run as fast as he can, with Ralph close behind. When John returns home, he discovers a baboon eating an orange inside his house. At that time, Ralph appears and strikes John once more, sparking a battle between them. During the struggle, the baboon attacks Ralph from behind, injuring him. John attempts to scare the baboon away with a stick. Meanwhile, Jackie and the police officer arrive at John's house and discover Ralph in critical condition. The police and John assisted in loading Ralph into the automobile. John tries to explain the issue to the officer. However, instead of paying attention, the officer pulls a gun at John and commands him to leave the town immediately, or he will be shot. Jackie is then asked to sit in the vehicle by the police officer. Jackie, however, is perplexed and reluctant to leave her partner because she is aware that this is the final time she will see John. Nevertheless, Jackie gets into the car with her dad and drives off inconsolably. So that was Sleeper's Wake. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on the notification so you won't miss the next recap. Until then, cheers!